Welcome to Living Life to its Fullest, where we share information about how the profession of occupational therapy benefits our community and beyond. I'm Amy Mayer, owner of Mayer Wellness and Myofascial Release, and this is my co-host, Janel Meis, founder of The Toy Box, and today with us we have Jessica Stovall. She is getting her doctorate degree at Creighton University in occupational therapy. Welcome, Jessica, and tell us how you got interested in occupational therapy and how you became so interested in backpacks.
Perfect. I'd love to tell you my story. So I've always had a love for special needs children since I was 14 years old. From there, my life took a few different paths, and I was speaking with one of my family members, and she said, I really think you would really enjoy occupational therapy. She's a speech pathologist, by the way, so we all collaborate together. And I ended up going back to school, spoke with my college advisor, and she ended up getting me connected with a equine therapy branch, and that's horse therapy. And so I worked in early intervention with children 18 months to 3 years old. And one beautiful Friday morning, I was working with a little boy, his mom, and our instructor. And he's 3 years old and he's never spoken a word in his life. And that morning, we usually tell the horses to go with sign language, and he actually ended up verbalizing go. So saying his first word, and then his second word was mom. So we're all bawling, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love occupational therapy! And so anytime after that I would have different occupational therapy volunteering experience, whether with stroke, spinal cord, I continually fell into my purpose of it. And how I got started with Backpack Safety Awareness Day and why I'm so passionate about it is my first year of occupational therapy school, I volunteered at an elementary school out in West Omaha. And it was mind-blowing to me that more than 75% of the students at this elementary school were carrying heavy backpacks, more than 10 to 15% of their body weight. And I think what stood out to me most is not thinking of them right then and there, but then also their longevity and their contributing risk factors the rest of their life, and what this can mean 20, 30 years down the road if some of them get into playing sports. So this is where I really became passionate at, was September 20th, 2017.
So how big of an issue is this across the United States?
Oh, this is a huge issue. So the American Occupational Therapy Association actually deemed September 20th National Safety Backpack and Awareness Day. There's tons of resources online that we can give you at the end of this show, but yeah, so that's how important it is. I also have some really great statistics as well. So a clinical instructor at Boston University, she's also an occupational therapist, she did a study that more than 79 million students across the US are carrying heavy backpacks. So that's an astronomical amount. Yes. Not only that, but the US Consumer Product Safety Commission said at least 14,000 students are getting treated with back injuries each year. 14,000! That's way more than what it should be. And it all starts today with knowing what proper backpack safety is.
What makes a backpack too heavy? When you say a heavy backpack, what makes it too heavy for somebody?
So, great question, Amy. A heavy backpack is any more than 10 to 15% of a child's body weight. So if, let's just say, if they're 50 pounds, their backpack is...
whatever you want to call it. We like them all.
Can be no more than 10% of their body weight. So 10 to 15%. So if they're 50 pounds, it can be no more than 5 to 7.5 pounds. I like to err on the side of caution and run further down to 7 pounds than going up to 8. But sometimes this isn't realistic in our everyday life. So we want to teach you strategies today of how this can help you with longevity and minimizing your risk factors for injury later on down the road.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So we have a backpack.
Yes.
Should I put it on?
Yes, please put it on.
Go ahead.
So while Janelle's getting the backpack on, I'm gonna give you a whole body picture of what this does to the body, as far from the knee all the way up to the neck. Do you have a question?
Nope, go right ahead.
All right, okay, so let's get started. So our bodies are supposed to stack up a certain way. So our ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, and ear are all supposed to line along each other. We are supposed to have a natural C curve in our lower back and a natural S curve in our back. When we have a backpack that's too heavy, it throws us out of alignment. So let's go to the knees. So knee pain is possible if Janelle or any other child, anyone, has a change in walking pattern or postural pattern. Her hips can be sore if she leans forward and compensates for her forward lean for the backward pull of her backpack. We'll go to lower back. Also, to leaning forward will compensate the weight of the backpack on the lower back and cause pain, muscle stiffness. You know, all of these things, they're creating musculoskeletal changes all the way down to muscle, just body alignment. Next thing we're going to talk about is her shoulders. So we're not meant to have heavy things hang on our shoulders. We have so many complex and vital structures in this one area that we have nerves that start here and go all the way down to our arms. This is another thing that I wanted to talk about later on in the show, that if your child has tingling, numbness in their arms, this is the first place to start if they have a heavy book pack, because you're compressing structures all in this area that are very vital to our functioning system. Okay, so like I said before, shoulders aren't meant to have heavy things hang on them. And when they do, you're getting down to straining muscles, ligaments, nerves, and lastly, her neck and upper back pain.
I can feel it a minute.
Yeah.
I'm like her.
Yeah.
So
So
shift it.
absolutely. So her neck causes a forward lean, which extends her neck, putting more pressure back here on the spine. So, and that's another thing I wanted to go back to, okay? So, let's pretend like Janelle is 50 pounds, okay? Janelle, like us all, has our spinal cord. It runs from the back of our head all the way down, to our lower back. If Janelle is 50 pounds, studies show that 50 pounds is equally distributed through each one of our discs in our back. That's if we have proper body alignment. Most people in the USA don't really have proper body alignment. So, I'm going to talk about the risk factors that are happening with each of those discs. So 50 pounds, evenly distributed. Now, if Janelle loses her body alignment, she puts an extra 150% of her body weight on each one of those discs in a backward pressure. So now she's putting, if she's 50 pounds, she's putting 75 pounds of backward pressure on each one of her discs. Then, when she starts bending at the hip, can you bend at the hip for me? She puts an extra 200% of her body weight on each one of those discs. So now, she's at 200 pounds. That's incredible. It blows my mind that just these little things that we can do affect everything. And that's not even when you start lifting weight. That's without lifting a backpack. So imagine putting a backpack with improper body alignment, heavy books, what it's doing to our bodies.
This looks like a pretty ill-fitting backpack.
Absolutely.
It's pretty saggy.
Absolutely.
So you're going to show us how to fix it.
Yep. Okay. So, can you move back towards me?
Sure.
There we go. Okay. So one thing we want to do is we want to cinch the side all the way up.
That feels nice.
Feels nice, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Do you want to cinch this side too?
Sure.
So we don't want the book bag to be anywhere from 2 to 4 inches below her waist, and her waist would be hips area. That's once again creating that backward pressure and proper body alignment. And
So I want the backpack to sit right like in my curve area?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, so you want the backpack to sit in your C curve, correct? So with this backpack, do you have your chest straps?
Oh, yeah. There is one on here.
You always want to apply the chest straps. I know some kids it's probably not the coolest thing ever, but please do for like the longevity of your health. Parents, press
How
up
tight
on your
does it have to be?
kids. How tight that does it have to
do
be?
you want it, like, is this actually helpful, or
Yeah, so I put a little bit more.
should probably be
There,
like
there you go.
that, so it feels snug?
Yeah, you don't want it too snug though, because then you really start compressing. You just want it a little. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, hand should be able to fit in there.
So it looks like adding this takes more pressure off into the body here, which is important.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Next thing, so when we cinched her waistband, now she's 2 to 4 inches above her waist. She has her chest strap. There's also these side straps on the school bag to where it encloses the school bag to where it's not so far back.
So it pulls it all closer to the body.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so now that we have the backpack on, let's take it off, unpack it, see how you packed your bag this morning, Janelle.
Like a pro?
Yeah.
Really fast.
So it's not just about how the bag fits you, but it's also what's in the bag and how you put it in the bag.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
so right now I'm going to show you how to pack the backpack properly.
What about kids who might not have a chest strap on their bag? Like, what, do they need to buy a bag that has a chest strap on it? How can they adjust anything to make it better for them? What would you do differently?
Yeah, that is a great question. So if your child can find a book bag with a chest strap, I would say like let that be your first option so you're distributing weight properly. So many times as parents when we're going through the hustle and bustle of getting school supplies and whatnot, Target, Walmart, I mean it's mass chaos. And you're like, okay, let's pick a backpack that you like, whether it's Ninja Turtle, Frozen, whatever it may be. But we don't take the time to check their alignment. So my suggestion for a parent would be, hey, let's throw a few notebooks in there. Let's have you walk around, see how this feels. Let's check the space in your back. This is one thing that we didn't, there should be no space back here at all. So if there's still space while cinching it up, let's find another backpack, walk around the store. Taking that extra time to adjust and figure out a book bag for your child is so essential. So,
Okay, let's pack that backpack.
pack it.
See how I did?
We've got about 7 minutes left.
Okay.
So let's see.
Alright, so this backpack has a laptop case, which is pretty cool. If you can find a backpack with a laptop case, let's do it. So one thing I wanted to press upon too is, like we talked about before with injuries and whatnot, if, let's just say a sports athlete, if they have a back injury and they hurt themselves playing football, the parents, coaches are not gonna go to, oh, their backpack is so heavy, let's check that. That's such a contributing risk factor. They're gonna be like, oh, what are they doing wrong? And what I would tell you is to educate and empower and tell people about this, because not only is it hurting them right then and there in high school, but all the way down the road, I can't press upon it long enough.
So making these changes now can help make anybody healthier in the future.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay.
How'd I do?
Well, you
How
had
was it?
so Janelle had a book in her laptop case, which I would say,
I had it stacked like this.
yeah. So she had it stacked like that in there.
And the best way to do it would be
Is
the laptop goes in first.
laptop first, then in the separate compartment, you want your thickest, biggest book toward the back.
Okay.
Then your next biggest book.
And by biggest you mean tallest.
Yes.
Okay.
And then your next biggest, thickest one after that, which is
So
smaller.
this is how it'll go in there.
Yes.
So packed
Cool.
by height of the book or the item, not by how heavy it is.
Yes.
Okay.
But if you can do height and weight first, you always want the biggest books toward their
Closest to your back.
closest to your back. Absolutely, thank you, Amy. Now, another thing we don't want is to have things sliding all around the place. So I have a bag for my chapstick, charger, different things like that. And then I have my pen case. So another thing as well too is you want the heaviest things, like this is heavier than my pen case, toward your hips, closer to the bottom, so that your hips can support that weight.
So you would stack it.
So I would
Yeah.
stack it like this, on top of each other. Not like this, like this.
Cool.
So when Janelle puts this book bag back on, there you go, Janelle.
Thank you.
You want to be able to cut her completely in half, 2 equal sides, and both weights be the same. And both sides be the same weight. So, how does that feel, Janelle?
Feels great.
Got snapped
It's
in the
good.
front? Are you all the way cinched up?
So if you had a water bottle, for example, tucked in the side, then you would want to put something on the other side that would be about the same weight, or move it back and forth throughout the day.
Yeah, I would say move it back and forth throughout the day. You want to be as symmetrically even out at the end of the day as possible. So to maybe first class right side water bottle, second class left side water bottle.
Okay. We've got about 5 minutes left. What other important tips do you have for us? And Janelle, that looks a heck of a lot better.
It does. It feels real
Does it
good.
feel better?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one thing I would encourage parents and students to do is to, if you can leave books at home, do that. If you can leave books in your locker, your cubby, try to avoid taking home as much stuff as possible. Not only that, but like we talked about before, having things shifting in there. So unnecessary items like Game Boys or pins, like get a pin bag for it. As well too is some kids wait till Friday to do their homework. So that means heavier backpack on the weekend. So parents planning ahead, okay, what do we need to do this week to maybe this day bring home this book and this day bring home that book.
Question for you. So
yeah.
what about kids with the Nebraska changing weather all the time, the heavy coats and wearing those? How does packing your back, does it change how you pack your backpack?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say to check the, there's different puffiness of coats. So I'd say to check the puffiness. Also to,
And a less puffy one would be better.
yeah, less puffy one would be better.
Why so? So that way it's closer to your body then?
Yeah,
Because then it kind of.
closer to the body. Yeah, so like we said before, you don't want any space back here. So the closer to the body, the better. As occupational therapists, we want to be help parents and caregivers be agents of change. And the American Occupational Therapy Association says, pack it light, pack it right. So
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
That was very, very helpful.
thank you for having me. on the
We'll
show.
have some resources at the end of the show, so you can stay tuned and watch those. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.